Jalen, I am so happy that we're doing this. It's been a long time coming. I've been pestering Jalen about coming on my show for years now. So I'm so happy that we got it done. But I also really do just generally mean a long time coming. I always tell people, like, I was watching you when you were in high school. Mm-hmm. So to see you now be the king of New York, an all-star, one of the best guards in the league, has really been something fun for me. And so I hope that you've been able to embrace the moment in the same way.
Absolutely. It's been a very long journey, but I mean, I've enjoyed every step of it. It's made me who I am. I remember where I come from and how I started, but I try and never lose sight of like having that hunger of getting better every single day and all that stuff. So it's been a long time coming, but the journey is just beginning.
Yeah. Do you remember not choosing my school?
Absolutely. I remember. I could never forget.
So just for some background, I went to University of Illinois. When I was there, I was covering high school recruiting. Jalen, of course, was a huge recruit. My school was in his top 3, right? Mm-hmm. I think we were just in there for some fun. But ultimately, of course, went to Villanova, which was the right decision.
It's a pretty good decision. Pretty good.
Very good decision. I want to start with some tweet story time, because the last time I saw you, you and Josh were with your wives out to eat. And when I looked at my phone, I saw that something happened with Josh and a reservation.
So
please tell me the story.
I called Josh and I say, "Hey Josh, do you want to do dinner after the game?" So yeah, we'll do dinner. And I was like, "Okay, make a reservation at Carbone for however many, I think we had like 4 or 5.
Yeah.
He said, "All right, I got it. He says, "I got it." Like, he legit said, "I got it." And then we go back. We play. We win. I said, "All right, we're going to dinner. We're all driving together." No, we're meeting there. And Josh calls me. He's like, "Hey, what's the reservation under?" I said, "No way." I said, "There's no way." I said, "I told you to make a reservation." He said, "No, I thought you said you made it for 5." I said, "No, I asked you to make it for 5." And so yeah, we went to somewhere else.
Yeah, then we ended up at Zero Bond.
Ended at Zero Bond, and I was just. I looked at him the whole night like, what is wrong with you?
Yeah, how did you mess this up after telling me you were going to get it done? But it is actually very curious to me how your life has changed being like a star in New York City. Because I would think you could walk into Carbone and they'll give you a table.
Well, he walked in. I was still driving there. So I don't know how that worked out. But actually, now that we're thinking about it, we were going to the Rangers game after our season ended, and we were going to go to dinner before. I said, "Josh, make the reservation." Not even thinking about what happened last time. And the reservation was made at the restaurant at a different location. So I'm like, "Josh, you're 0 for 2 now."
Okay, I'm sorry. At a certain point, it's on you. Because why do you keep
like I
said,
that one was on me. Like, I should have known.
Yeah.
But I wasn't thinking. But I was just. But we got to sit down and eat there at the one we were at. So we were good. Okay,
I love that. But your life, I'm sure, has changed a lot. What is even comparable to being a star in New York City?
It's changed, but I try my best to stay grounded. I have the people around me who keep me grounded. Mm-hmm. I think just being in New York, being in that city, it's embraced me, and I've got to experience a lot of great things. But the way I've been respected, the way I've been talked to and embraced, it's been amazing for me. So I don't really try and think about the star aspect of it. I just try and be like a normal person as much as I can. And obviously things happen that are out of your control. But I mean, I've enjoyed it just because of how I've been. I've been the same.
And it's been a really interesting journey because, as I'm sure you very vividly remember, when the news first broke, the conversation was, he's overpaid. Mm-hmm. Why did you all do this? There was other people available. And now it has become, is Jalen Brunson the best free agent signing in Knicks history? What have those two opposites sort of shown you about how we determine value in this league?
I mean, it's all about opportunity. It's all about confidence. It's all about the situation. So it's a mixture of everything. Confidence goes a long way. The situation you're in, the teammates you're around, all that stuff. And so my situation obviously has turned out for the better as of now. And so I kind of contribute that to not just like how I've played, but the people that I've been around with, the organization, the coaches, everyone's just, it's been a group effort. It hasn't just been me. And so without their help, I don't think that none of this is possible.
So opportunity, confidence, and situation. For you, of those three categories, what's been the one you would say you struggled with the most?
I think the situation's great. I think the opportunity is fantastic. Honestly, I don't say I struggle with, but it's probably the one that's the least is confidence. Because there's some nights where like you overthink, and like you don't play well. You do something that's just like you're not comfortable with. Like you didn't play the way you wanted to, and so like you think all night before you can't go to sleep because you're thinking about how that game went and how can you be better and stuff like that. So I don't say I struggle with confidence, but if there's something that wavers and I kind of have to recalibrate it, it is confidence.
Yeah. How do you work on that? Like how do you flex the confidence muscle?
The confidence for me comes from like my work ethic. So my routine on game days, my routines night before a game, I make sure I do that every single game if I can, like if the situation's right. But knowing that how hard I work, I just say I can't work this hard and not be confident. Mm-hmm. So that's how I kind of talk to myself in games. That's what I say to myself before games, during situations, and that kind of little mantra I say to myself, it helps.
You know, a lot of people were wrong about you. I mean, that's really just the only way to put it. A lot of people were really wrong about you when everyone found out you were going to be coming to New York. Mm-hmm. Is there like an incredibly egregious comment that was just almost comical to you now?
Not a comment, but there's on Twitter or X, wherever we call it now. There's like a compilation of like videos of like when I did sign, and it was like a bunch of like, it was like on ESPN, it was like on Fox Sports or whatever, and just saying like how dumb or how bad it was for the Knicks or whatever, the grading process of it. Every time I see it, I kind of like, I don't watch it, but I skim over it. I'm like, there it is again. Like, mm-hmm. But I didn't think of it at the time. Like when I saw it, I was like, all right, it's just another stepping stone where people don't believe in me, and I believe in myself.
So how do those reminders serve you?
They serve a good purpose. Like they're always there. It kind of keeps me humble. Hey, these people don't think you're anything. Like, and I'm not trying to go out there and prove to the world like, yo, I belong here. I'm proving to myself like, hey, I worked this hard to be in this position. I have this opportunity. I need to take full advantage of it. So it's more telling myself that I belong here versus telling the world like, hey, like, see, like watch me. I'm in this position because I earned it. Like, which is true, but I'm trying to prove it to myself first and foremost.
If you didn't have doubters, right? If this underdog or overlooked mentality was not in your life, what kind of player would you be?
I would say, honestly, I would be pretty similar to how I am.
Really?
Because there's a lot of people who've, like you said, doubt me or like overlook me or whatever. But I try my best not to even think of them, because I have the person who's been with me every single day, like my dad, to push me the way he has. And I've had other coaches in the past push me, like Coach Wright, my high school coach, middle school coach, coaches in the league, like they've pushed me. And I've always had that mindset of, okay, like how can I get better? How can I just extract the message from what they're trying to say and put it into my game to make sure I'm the better player? There's always people going to say things about you that are positive or negative. But if you're not going to listen to the negative, you can't listen to the positive either. Mm-hmm. And so that I would be very similar.
So I would say, I talk to a lot of athletes a lot, and there is always this theme of, oh, I don't care what people say, or I don't listen to what people say. Sometimes I'm like, I don't fully believe you. I know that you're watching the shows. Right. I know that you're scrolling on the internet. But I feel like when you say it, you truly are not locked in on any sort of naysayer.
True. I'm not locked in on a naysayer. But like you said, I see it. You see all that stuff.
Yeah.
And it's just like, okay, it's just another one. Another thing that's happened to me. It'd be different if it really happened and someone said something. I'll be like, oh, okay, this is gonna be in my head for a while, but it's happened throughout my entire career.
Yeah.
Like it's happened in high school, and I proved everyone wrong. It happened in college, I proved everyone wrong. It happened in the league, and it's still happening. It's gonna happen. It's just all about how you respond to it.
Yeah. There's this really interesting element to me about it that is your normal.
Yeah.
That is your air, right?
Yeah.
Like this is what you know, having people discuss you in this way. So you now know what it's like to be a sixth man, and you know what it is like to be the leading man and the number one option on a team. What do you have to tap into now that you never had to tap into at any other point in your career?
A lot of the things now are mental more than anything. So it's all about your mental approach. The NBA season is a long season. It's it can be grueling. You could wake up in the morning and just not feel great at all. But then once your game time comes, like you're just mentally ready to go. So it's all about how like my mental approach has changed, because there's so many more games and there's so many more just opportunities to go out there and compete. I feel like you're in high school and college, like you play every 2, 3, maybe 4 days. And so you have these long breaks in between games where you can sit on a good win, a bad win, or a bad loss, or it's in your mind for a while. I think you have every single night, every other night to go out there and compete. So it's a new matchup, it's a new game, it's a way to kind of redeem yourself, it's a way to build on what you're doing. So it's all about how you mentally prepare to go out there and compete every single day. I think that's been like the biggest change.
It's interesting you say that, because something Channing Frye and I will always talk about is when we watch you play, you are always passionate, but never emotional. Are you like intentional with that difference, or you disagree?
I've gotten more emotional.
Okay.
I've gotten more emotional.
Why do you think that is?
It's like with confidence, I don't want to say you become arrogant, but like there's times where like you let your emotions get the best of you, and that's just how it is. And I would say throughout the regular season, sometimes I have moments where I'm like highs and lows. I do try and hide it pretty well.
Yeah.
I do try and hide it.
Your face doesn't change much.
When I come to the bench, I say some stuff and I get angry, or when the camera's not looking, I say some stuff. I try and do it where it's not right there.
Yeah.
It happens.
What gets you high? What gets you low?
Obviously playing well get you on cloud 9, but and not playing well gets you low. But it's I would say one thing I've learned, I've had halves where like I go 2 for 10, 2 for 11, like not good shooting halves, but maybe doing something else great, or I may not be playing well at all. And just that 15-minute break and during halftime, I get a chance to refocus, and then all of a sudden I'm back and playing great in the second half. So whenever something happens like that where I'm not playing well, I'm like, all right, it's a time to refocus. I knew it. I've done this before. Let's go out there and just play as best you can. Let's think about the little things. I'm not thinking about what I'm doing wrong, and then I end up playing well in the second half. So having moments like that with myself, knowing that I can be better, knowing I'm not playing great, that always gives me confidence.
So I was talking to different people about how I was doing this interview, and something that kept popping up, which has always popped up in your career, is people saying, well, he's not the most athletic, but he's super smart, and he has great footwork. And while, I think that the compliment aspect of that is true, I'm curious if this assessment of your game feels like it doesn't give you enough credit.
Yeah. But that goes back to what we were saying before. It's always about being like overlooked. Like it happens. There's always, when I got, when we did the introduction with the Knicks, I kind of said something, hey, like everyone thinks I'm good, but there's always that, hey, like there's something, it's like not like, it's not like a backhanded compliment, but it's like, yeah, he's got it, but he's not this or he's not that. It's always been that way. And so, I mean, like it is what it is at this point.
But I wonder if it's actually more so a challenge to the consumers to expand our definition of what a star looks like. Because if they do believe you to be somebody who isn't, otherworldly athletic or is undersized, whatever the case may be, but you're still performing and excelling in these ways, then why are those traits as necessary as we deem them to be.
It's just how it is.
Yeah.
It's just how it is. It's the narrative of a star. It's the look of a star. It's what brings the most tickets, how can you monetize someone or something. And so that's just how it's been. It's always been that way. And so, I mean, I'm not fighting it. It is what it is. I'm still going to try and do what I got to do, but it's how it's been. Yeah,
because I mean, just as I've thought about it, I'm like, that's actually a very lazy take, because you aren't allowing yourself to see what works for somebody. Like, it would be different if you weren't winning.
Yeah.
But why are those other things necessary if the way that you are really works for you? And so I just think it's interesting that it continues to pop up when how you play basketball is winning basketball.
I would say everyone has agendas. Everyone has things they have to push. It may not be them, but it may be someone above them saying, I need you to push this or whatever. So, I mean, whatever's said or whatever is not said, or I kind of just don't really, it is what it is. Like, you don't know why people are saying certain things or if they have to say certain things. So I kind of back off of it. I try not to get like emotional about it, but yeah.
Well, I want to just ask you something directly that I know social media was in an uproar about with the 1A comments, which we don't need to dive into. I just want to ask you if you believe that you can be the best player on a championship team.
I believe that I can help a team win. Do I have to be the best player? No. If that's my role, I mean, of course I'm going to do it the best of my abilities. But I'm not dying to be the best player. I'm not dying for that recognition, to be a person who needs all that attention for just himself. I'm a person who will gladly contribute to winning. I'm a person who will gladly put the team on my back if I have to. Like, I don't need that title. I want the title champion. That's all that matters to me. And so whatever is being said about that, can he be the best player or not, or whatever. Can I help my team win? And I haven't done that yet, but I want to, and that's all I care about.
Yeah. And you're like, it's almost the wrong question to be asking if you could be the best player. It's, like, can we win?
Exactly.
Yeah. I want to talk to you a little bit about Tibbs, because I know you all have a very close relationship. What is it that people are misunderstanding about Tibbs? How have 3 years in a row he has been voted the coach that players least likely want to play for?
A narrative that has stuck with him since probably Derek got hurt. And it's unfortunate that that whole situation happened, but that narrative, once a narrative hits you, it's kind of hard to shake it unless you do something drastic. And so I feel like if we win, that narrative could wipe from Tibbs. Like, it's just, it is how it is. But one thing I've learned from him, you will be prepared for a game, right? He will bring out the dog in you. He's going to make you play a certain style, and you're going to buy into it. You're not going to buy into it because it's what for the team. You're going to like it because it's going to make you a better competitor. It's going to make you want to be the best player you can be. And he's just, for a person who works as hard as he is, it's hard not to like sit there and be like, oh, Tibbs, like, you're like, nah, I don't think that's right. Like, no, like, this man has been in the gym since 6 a.m. this morning. And when I come back for night shooting before a game, which is around like 7 or 8, he's still in the gym. So he's there all day. And he has a beautiful house, which I would, like, if I was him, I would, before practice is over, I'm in the car going home. So if I was him, like, I would live there. But this man is just dedicated to what he wants to do, and it's win. He is a competitor. Like, he loves to compete, even as a coach. Like, it's amazing to see. And so to have the relationship I had with him, that my dad has with him, and the players on our team had with him, there's times where we're like, yo, Tibbs, like, you got to relax. Like, but like, he's always going to be on. He's always going to be pushing you, and you're going to enjoy it because it's going to help you win. His favorite line is, winning is more fun than fun is fun. And while we all joke with him and laugh at him, winning is fun.
Yeah.
So, and then winning helps us keep our jobs.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's this real competitor, dedicated element that he brings to the team, that he brings to life? Because I really want you to take me into the mind of him, because it seems just like almost savant-like in his dedication to the game and how it's his life.
It's his life. It's his life. But since I've been from afar, I've known Tibbs. I've obviously never played for him until now. Mm-hmm. But getting to play for him and understand him as like a person, there's a lot more to that man than there's basketball. Mm-hmm. But he loves his basketball. He loves to compete. He loves just talking sports. He loves talking strategy. The amount of times I got calls like 8 a.m, hey, what do you think about doing this and this and this tonight? I'm like, yeah, we can talk about this at shoot around in 2 hours. Yeah, we can. But like he loves the game.
Yeah.
And like for a person to dedicate his life to it, an unhealthy amount of time to basketball, like you can't just like, I would love to play for someone like that, just because he's going to prepare you. He's going to be ready, and he's going to have every answer for the game, right? And you're going to be prepared. And like he's built the way he is just because of how much he loves the game.
Yeah. And I think, it works for you both because you are like-minded. Mm-hmm. Whereas I think for, the players that are voting on the poll, the knock on him is, okay, he's going to play you the entire game.
Yeah.
You're going to have a heavy workload. Was there a period of you having to like adjust to that?
No, because it's kind of what I wanted. I wanted a situation to obviously lead a team, and he's helping me do that. Mm-hmm. And we've gotten to the point where if there's times where I'm like, yo, Tiz, we need to talk about something, how I feel about like myself and how I'm playing, we'll talk. Like he's not a person who's just going to be like, hey, nah, this is what we're doing. Like, like he's going to listen. He's going to like talk to everyone about how they're feeling. Our practices are intense mentally versus physically. They're intense mental practices to make sure we're prepared mentally more than anything during the season.
What do you mean by that?
Like beginning of the season, training camp, obviously early in the season you have tough practices, and later in the season you physically aren't doing as much, like competing wise. So you're shooting, like you're walking through and stuff like that, but we're not doing as much like grinding out in practice.
Yeah.
Mentally, we're like talking about plays and like walking through plays and kind of visualizing things that are going to happen in the game without like going like full speed and contact and stuff like that. So the mental aspect for him is huge, and it helps us because physically, like we're not going to do as much in practice, but mentally we're doing enough to know that this is what we need to get better at. This is what we need to do for tomorrow's game or whatever. So that's just his mind and his mindset are definitely unique. But I mean, it's been working.
Was it unfair to say that, how he does his rotations, the workload led to fatigue down the stretch?
I think it's unfair to say because there's some things that you can't, fatigue doesn't like control. Like me breaking my hand, like that's not really a fatigue thing. I physically hit something. It's always in question. It's always in question. But one thing Tibbs has always harped on us is to make sure we're coming into training camp ready to go in shape. Like there's no getting ready in training camp. Mm-hmm. And him having, and he calls everybody. I know he does. He's like, hey, like making sure you're doing what you got to do. Not saying it like that, but basically saying it like that. Mm-hmm. I've never seen a man care like this than anything else. Like, this is what he does. Yeah. Like, this is who he is.
No, I love it because I mean the love that you have for him is so clear. So I enjoy talking to you about him. You mentioned the injury. I was talking to you about it before we started rolling, and you couldn't even really find the words.
No, I was a little upset by it, and it is what it is, and it's unfortunate, but we'll be all right.
When you think about the moment it happened, what is it that comes to your mind initially?
So when I hit Tyrese's knee, I start walking back to the timeout like nothing happened. I may have went like this a couple of times, but like I was just like, okay. And then like in the timeout, I think I just jammed it. He taped my thumb up or whatever, tapes it up, and then go out onto the court. The play was for me. I catch the ball, caught it weirdly, couldn't really like grab the ball, and I tried to dribble. It felt uncomfortable, so then I just got off of it. And so then I come out the game. I said, just take the tape off, go back in the game. And there was a play where they score, and then TJ McConnell, or Isaiah Hartenstein takes the ball out, and he's passing the ball to me on the baseline. And TJ McConnell does his like signature like steal out of bounds. But you see me, I don't even put my left hand up to catch the ball. I don't like mentally, I just didn't try to do it. And then TJ steals it, pass, and one layup. Isaiah looks at me like, what are you doing? I'm just like, I don't know. And then I walked to the sideline. I was like, I looked at my hand. You see like a little dent. I'm like, I said, there's just no way.
Yeah.
And then walk back and X-rays and boom.
Were you angry? Were you scared? Were you mad? What did you feel when you realized?
I was like distraught. I was just like, there's just no way. There's just no way. We weren't playing our best basketball. Like, I wasn't playing my best, like shooting wise.
Mm-hmm.
But one thing I do know is that when the fourth quarter comes,
y'all turn up.
We turn up. And I'm not saying we would have won the game.
Yeah.
I'm saying like, but there was a shot. Like we cut it to single digits in the second half. Like there was a shot.
Yeah.
And there's always a chance with us.
Mm-hmm.
That's something that we've prided ourselves on. But to start walking back to the locker room, I was just like, I hear my dad in the background just like, like he's just yelling. He's like, what the fuck? Blah, blah, blah. I'm just like, I'm walking back with my head down, just like, there's just no way this thing's broken right now.
Yeah.
And then the X-ray sheet wasn't like working for the first like 5 minutes. So I'm just sitting there like, I'm like, oh
no.
my God. And then like rebooted the whole thing. We did it. And then I saw it and I was just like, this is fucking bullshit.
How often have you thought about it? Like that moment?
A lot, because you think like, why did I swipe down? I was so far out of the play. But like, I don't know. I didn't want to like give up on the play.
Yeah.
But like, it was just, he was going to lay the ball up anyway or whatever. I think about, why did I swipe down? That's what I think about.
You know, obviously every single postseason, there's this conversation about how injuries affect the playoffs. We see it every year when things happen. But I'm sure you have a completely different appreciation and understanding of it now that you have been in the position. Does it feel different now? Yeah,
it feels different. I think everyone going into the playoffs has something.
Yeah.
There's something going on. Everyone.
Every single person.
There's something going on.
Yeah.
No one's at 100%. No one. But as you play, you start to realize like, hey, like, yeah, it goes down to like who's the most healthy. Like who is the most healthy and who's playing the best. And obviously, I hated to use the narrative like, hey, like we didn't win because we were hurt. Like we had a chance to still win that series being hurt. Yeah. That's what it was. We won against Philly like being hurt. Like it's very doable. So I hate using that excuse, but it's just unfortunate. Like, this is how basketball is. You can't like. It is what it is.
But saying that out loud, that like even hurt, you could have won. I would think that maybe makes it sting a little more.
Yeah. Definitely. I mean, it stings because no matter what, you lost, and you're sitting here watching basketball still being played, and it sucks. Like sometimes I can't like, I try and watch sometimes, but sometimes I just turn it off or do something else. I get my mind off of it, and I'll get like a group chat text like, yo, like so and so is doing this. I'm just like, I'm not even.
You're like, I'm not locked in.
I'm not watching this right now.
You know, I remember at some point you were talking about what you were thinking about in the off season after the Miami loss last year. You were talking about a turnover that was not leaving your mind.
Right.
This off season, what's the thing that's not leaving your mind?
Obviously, without talking about this, I would say the one thing that pops in my head is Andrew Nembhard hitting that 3 in Game 3.
Yeah.
Props to him. Like I'm not mad at him, but just damn. I actually played somewhat good defense right there. He makes the ball from 30 feet or 35 feet, whatever it is, and that's one thing that pops in my head. And obviously, just like the Pacers in general, like the team you lose to is something that you're going to think about. Like like I'm Carlisle and all the coaches that were in Dallas. Obviously respect them all. Ty, I respect. TJ, Neesmith, all those guys. Like, you respect them all, but like you want to go out there and compete. Like you can't wait to lace them up again. Like that's all you're thinking about. It's like, hey, I want to get back to that point and just kind of redeem myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously, as you mentioned, all the guys on that side that you have such a deep respect for.
Yeah.
Does that make a series like that much more personal? I mean, you were coached by Rick. Obviously, you're friends with Tyrese. Like, there just seemed to be a lot of undercurrents to that series that weren't always discussed.
Does it make it more personal? No. I would say, like, there's things in my mind that I keep in my mind that's for me. Like,
yeah.
I don't need to go out there and tell the media, like, hey, this is how I feel about certain situations. Like, no, that's in the past, and I'm cool with it. I'm at peace with it. I mean, I still remember. It is what it is. And like being friends with like Ty and like TJ, like I didn't talk to Ty the entire time. We barely spoke. Me and TJ got into it like game 2 or whatever. But like afterwards, it's like you respect them because they competed and they won. You can't just walk off the court and be like, all right, I feel I'm out of here. Like, no, like y'all be this and we'll be back.
Yeah. So you didn't talk to Tyrese for most of the series. Did you get to
at all during the series?
At all during the series. Let me clarify. Didn't speak to Tyrese
maybe
at all.
Two sentences, maybe.
maybe 2 sentences. When the series was over, did you get to have a conversation with Rick?
The conversation, no. But the tunnel that we come out of, for some reason, Rick walked back through that tunnel after Game 7. So I saw him. I just shook his hand and said, Coach, it's all love. Congrats. And he said, love you too, man. Congrats. And that was it.
Did it feel like you all needed that moment?
No. The year before, what's it called? The coaching staff and that I had with in Dallas, I think it's like 2 or 3 coaches and Rick, like we saw each other the night before the game. I got to see him, and like it's all respect. Like it's Rick got me into this league. No matter like whatever happened in that series where like he'd stopped playing me, and it's as a coach's decision. It's their job's on the line too. They're trying to win, and so I mean it is what it is at that point. But I saw him night before a game like 2 years ago, and we talked about things. We didn't even talk about what happened in that series, and we just started catching up and all this stuff. But we didn't need that moment. We were good. Yeah. But like as a competitor, I'm always going to think about things that have made me to where I am.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Switching gears a little bit, because I'm just very curious for you. You scored 61 points against the Spurs. Wemby throws your ball in the air. Did you get it back? Do we have any token of this 61-point game?
So there's the video that is showing like Wemby throwing it and me like looking at the ball. I wasn't looking at the ball. I wasn't looking at Wemby. I didn't even know he did that at the time.
Okay.
I saw it after the fact. Somehow, some way, we got the ball.
You got the ball.
At least that's what they said.
Yeah, you got a ball.
We got a ball.
A ball. Okay. Tell me the story. When did you get it? How did it go?
Honestly, I don't remember when we got it.
Yeah.
But somehow, I just remember being back home. It's like, hey, they're like, you know how you get the ball and like, hey, like your career high on the ball and all that stuff. And so they said, yeah, we got, our equipment manager Kyle was like, I think, yeah, we got the ball for you. I was like, huh? Like how? Like I didn't. Like, I was like, okay, like, cool. Like,
yeah.
I didn't really care for it because we lost. So I was, I wasn't particularly like, oh yes, we got the ball. But I was just like, all right.
Yeah, sure, I'll take it.
I'll take
yeah,
it, whatever.
TBD if it's the ball, but I'll take it.
Yeah.
During games, does Josh Hart ever come over like, can y'all believe I got that rebound? Did y'all see that rebound? Does he ever?
To me, no.
Okay.
I heard it mic'd up one game. He said something like, hey, like you grab offensive rebounds for such and such. I grab rebounds that like deflate teams or kill teams or whatever. And I was like, wow, that is true. Like, just shut the hell up. This dude does not stop talking. Does not stop talking. And he'll probably say the same about me.
Yeah.
But he's a clown. 100% a clown.
And he's always a clown.
Yeah.
Like it never changes. Yeah. But he will get you a rebound.
He will die
for that rebound.
I almost said something I shouldn't have, but yeah, he will He will find a way to get that ball. He will find a way to get the ball.
He will find a way, and it'll be a big rebound.
He'll
it's crazy.
He'll be on the bench, and then a shot will go up, and somehow he's on the court and he has the ball. I don't like. He's always done it though. It's just from the moment I've seen him, he's always done that.
Yeah.
I don't know. He just.
I love it. I know that at one point in the season, there was a Knicks fan that said to you, "This is embarrassing."
Mm-hmm.
You
Against
turned
Miami.
it up.
Against Miami.
Yeah, you turned it up, and you got the win. You're thinking something. Go ahead, tell me.
No, it was just crazy. I forget like what he looks like, but like I'm sitting after timeouts. I kind of sit on the scores table before I go back on the court. So I'm sitting there, and it's like I hear this kid. This is embarrassing. I was just like, and I tried not to like think or like interact with like fans as much as like they try and interact with me. But I heard it, and I was just like, I looked at him, I was like, what do you want me to do? I'm trying. I'm trying. I'm trying. And then somehow, some way, we end up winning that game. It was crazy, like a 9-point swing in like a minute.
Yeah.
And then, so yeah, when I asked the question, like, how'd you guys do it? I was like, well, that fan over there told me that this was embarrassing.
And he maybe was a little right. And I said, I got to turn it up.
Yeah. And then somehow, some way, subconsciously, it got me going.
It's interesting, though, because it's normally the inverse. Like, I'll hear a lot of players say that there was an opposing fan that said something to them that made them want to lock in. Has that ever happened to you? The opposite?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's happened It's happened a lot. Even high school, college, pros, it's happened. It's happened more in high school and college than it has in the pros.
Okay. Is there one in particular in the league that sticks out where, like, a fan really made you lock in?
I remember we were playing Cleveland my first year in New York. And so, not this past season, so 2 seasons ago, or whatever. My first year in New York. And it was my career high at the time. It was 48. I had 48 that game. And I remember this fan, she was definitely drunk, like clearly drunk. And she's screaming at me the entire game. I can hear her on the other side of the court. Like, she's screaming at me.
You specifically?
Yeah. She was wearing a Karis LeVert jersey. I don't know how, and a hat and glasses. I vividly remember this. And she's like just yelling and yelling. And like she's just talking. I'm just like, yo, can you relax? Like, it's a regular season. It's like we're chilling. Like we're
low stakes.
Yeah, like, and she's just going in and in, and then I end up they had like 33 in the first half. I ended up with like 48, and like I didn't like say anything to her, but I should have said something back. I should have said something, but like she just kept barking and barking. I'm like, you shut the hell up.
Or just a look that she knows, like, you're fueling me right now. Like,
I definitely looked at her. I'm like, yo, let's like just chill. She was barking, man.
I love that. I was having a conversation with Trey Murphy about this, and he's like, oh, most of my best performances were because of like a story that you just said.
People just start
someone
barking.
was just incessant and going and going.
Like, just, oh man, just relax. Just sit down and relax.
Like, it's okay. Everything is going to be okay.
It was the alcohol, though.
Yeah.
It was alcohol.
Which, I mean, that's kind of what happens. That's what happens. You right now are in a bit of a topsy-turvy situation because we know that in 2021 with the Mavericks, you've talked about how you wanted to sign an extension.
Right.
But you felt like it was a gamble, like that you did not want to take. You wanted to just have some assurance. Now you're in a situation where you can sign an extension. Of course, in many ways, it would not be financially advantageous to you. But it's the same circumstance, but completely different personal positions.
Right.
What player were you in Dallas where you felt as though you couldn't bet on yourself? And what player are you now?
Well, one, it's kind of hard. I'll say this. When there's an opportunity to help your family and help yourself, it's kind of hard to look at it like, no, I'm good. I'm going to wait. So that's the first thing. Mm-hmm. But the player I was in Dallas, I never knew what the situation was for me because there was always someone that they brought in. It was like, I remember they're bringing like DeLon Wright, they're bringing Seth Curry, and like all these guys. So I'm not like what's their plan like for me. So I'm just like, I don't say on edge, but like you gotta prepare for the worst. You gotta just make sure you're good. Like you're good. You don't want to keep saying I'm a bet on myself. I'm good. Like it may not turn out well for you. Like that's just how life is. And so, yeah, there are always like players they brought in like guards, and so, and obviously not playing as much as I did that playoff series with Rick and that team. And so the next year, J Kid comes in. He's like, "Yo, like, what do you want this season?" Like our first interaction, like he's like, "Yo, what do you want this season?" Yeah, I just want to help our team win. Yada yada yada. Like saying all the politically correct things that I should say as a player with a new coach who wants to play more.
Of course.
And he's like, no, we gotta get you paid. And I was like, shit. Okay, that's real.
Yeah.
That's real. So that was the first thing he said to me. This is our first interaction. And and he did. He helped me get paid. So thank you, J Kid. Yeah. I appreciate it.
Shout out to you.
So yeah, we had that conversation. And so we knew before the season that I was eligible to get like 4 years and $55 million. That was like the max I can get at the time for an extension. Mm-hmm. And so talking with like my dad and my agent, me and my dad and like my family, like, yo, if it's there, we want to sign it. My agent's like, if we play well, you can do like, as you should. Like if we play well, you do this, you can get so much more. I'm like, yeah, but like I want to be safe. Mm-hmm. And so before the season, we said, hey, like, if we can do this now, we want to do it. Otherwise, we don't want to talk about it during the season, right? And they were like, well, like we want to see where we are 20, 25 games in. That's when like they brought in J Kid, they brought in Nico. They were kind of rearranging things. Mm-hmm. And so we were like, okay, well, we're probably not going to want to talk about it. So that was that. And so 25 games go in. Like Luka goes out with like an injury, and I started for a period of time. And so right before I started playing a little bit more, like playing starters minutes, we said, hey, like I've been doing well. Like what do we think we're at? Like I kind of like jumped off what I said I would do to possibly sign an extension. And they're like, it was still like a gray area. Like we don't know. We want to see. It was never like a definitive like no. It was never a definitive like yes. Mm-hmm. So it was like a gray area. And then I started playing well. Luka comes back. I'm still in the starting lineup. I'm playing well alongside of him. And so one thing I understood, like Luka's going to play a certain way because he has that skill. It's unheard of. Yeah. And so I knew things like that like weren't going to change. So how can I be effective in the role that I'm given? So that's all I was thinking about. Like how can I be effective? I wasn't thinking like, hey, like I think I should get the ball more. I think I should do that. I can do so much more. Like no, like be effective in what's being asked of you. That was my mindset, and I think I was doing a pretty decent job at it. And so up to the trade deadline, I didn't hear anything about extension. And so the trade deadline, I'm thinking like I might possibly get traded. Like
you didn't have any assurance.
Yeah. And so obviously don't get traded. After the fact, they say, hey, like would you want to sign an extension? And we were like, no. I feel like I've outplayed that to this point, and I feel like I'm in a position where I'm good, barring injuries and stuff. I feel like I'm good. Obviously, you play well in the playoffs. When Luka was out, I played well, and we got to the Western Conference Finals. And so being that player back then, there's so much unknown. Mm-hmm. Like there's like about 2 players per team. There's like 30 players in the league that are like, hey, like I can exhale. I'm comfortable, like financially. Mm-hmm. And so I think now, obviously, being to where I am, I don't want to say I can exhale, but like I'm okay. Yeah. I'm okay. So it's a little different person financially. And so it's a totally different situation.
But you also, shouldn't sell yourself short in terms of just the many differences in this moment and what you've been able to show. Right. Because, I think when some people watch you now, there's this thought of how did this fall through the cracks in Dallas, right? How did they not figure it out how to make it work with Jalen? And when you really sit back and think and reflect, for you, is it that Dallas didn't know what they had, or is it that maybe you weren't that player yet?
Both. Okay. I definitely was not the player I am today in Dallas. Seriously. I feel like at the end of my time in Dallas, like in the playoffs, I was starting to get there. Mm-hmm. But like you said, there was never like assurance from them. There was never assurance like from me. Like you don't know. You're playing a game. You don't know. I feel like I've definitely established myself more now the past 2 years than I did my first 4 years.
For sure.
But it's not a knock on anybody. Like you have to make decisions. You have to make decisions in a timely manner. It's just how it goes. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you strike gold. Sometimes you're digging for nothing. Like you can't hold them accountable. You can't say, hey, like you guys messed up. Like you can say it now in like hindsight, but
no one knew then.
Like no one knew, and then it's not on them. Like I have the utmost respect for that organization. Like I talked to Mark. I talked to all of them. Like I just thank you for everything. Like I'm not like there's no grudges. Like we all move on. It is what it is. They're in a position right now where they're in the finals. Yeah. Like so clearly they didn't need me. So I'm not. Why should I like hold any like animosity towards them? And I hope they don't feel the same way towards me. It's just, and then plus I still have friends on that roster. So there's nothing. There's no bad blood, no nothing. Like things get thrown around where like narratives are said that like, hey, Jalen did like this, did like that. Mark said no to this. Like, well, we hash everything out. Like we're good and we move on.
Yeah, for sure. Do you? Like, because I would assume, like, when you're watching the Mavericks, there's so many people on that team that you're happy for. Right. Like, being in the finals. Yeah. Is that what goes through your mind as you watch those games?
It's like, first of all, they're in the finals. Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah.
It's great for them.
Yeah.
Being able to, like, as a friend, it's great to see, like, friends be in positions where they can be successful. As a competitor, like, I wish I was there. I wish I was playing in the finals. Right. Let me confirm.
Yeah.
I wish I was
not in Dallas.
I wish I was playing in the finals.
Yeah.
But it's really cool to see. I have a lot of love for guys over there, and yeah.
That's great. I know you and Luka always had a really, really great relationship. Also, I hear that of all the guys in the league, Luka is the one who was most unlike his on-court persona. Like off the court, he is just
another child.
I hear it's always jokes, pranks,
yeah,
and that's it. Like exclusively, that's Luka's personality.
Even when he's trying to be serious, you can't tell with his accent. Probably now is a little better.
Yeah.
But he's a kid. He loves to play around, loves to joke around. There have been a lot of times where like we all joke around and stuff like that, but he's one of those guys that like when he's on the court he's all business. When he's off the court, when it's time to relax, he's just another dude, likes to have fun and enjoy everyone else's company.
Yeah, I mean right now I think he's getting a lot of heat for whether his defense in the finals, complaining to the refs. Do you think that criticism is unfair?
I would say a lot. Yes, I think it's unfair. Okay. A lot goes on in a season, in a series, that a lot of people don't see. Obviously, I don't want to use the injury for him, but like he's banged up. That's one thing. There's certain times where like calls are made in the same situations that calls are not made. Like it's just all like fouls can be subjective for a referee. Like, hey, I don't think that's a foul. I think it's a foul, or I don't think there's enough contact for that foul. Mm-hmm. And so, like obviously you don't want to complain for a ref for what he did, but it's a tough situation to be in. It's emotional.
Yeah.
It's an emotional game, and like everyone's expect, hey, like you're a grown man, you need to like act like one. Like no, this is an emotional thing. This is what everyone in this league has worked for, an opportunity like that. And sometimes like emotions get the best of you. So I'm not. It's people want players to be perfect. They want you to be perfect. They want you to average 40. They want you to win the final MVP. They have so many narratives for you. Like Jayson, they have so many narratives for him. Like he has this great team around him, but he's not doing this. He's not doing that. Well, he's helping his team win.
Right. They're one away.
They're one away. Like, I understand people have jobs to do and things to say or whatever, but like, a lot of players, like just like, at least me, don't care about how they do it. This is, do we win?
Yeah. I think in some ways, and not to put words in your mouth, but in some ways these narratives have hurt how we talk about basketball. And it's not just because they are narratives, it's because they're narratives that become stuck.
Right.
So you don't give people any movement to change your mind or to change the perception. And even things like winning aren't even able to loosen the narrative that is sometimes suffocating a certain player. And I wonder if it's at all possible to get out of that.
I feel like in order to be successful in the media's eyes, whatever they place on your plate, you have to do it before they say, all right, he's done it. Like, he can do whatever he wants now. You know what I'm saying?
Totally.
Like, everyone was saying, like, with Steph, like, oh, he's never won a Finals MVP, whatever. He won a Finals MVP. Not everyone's like, oh, he could be top 10 all time. He can do this. He can do that. Like, whatever the media puts on your plate, and if you don't, until you achieve it, they're not going to give you any type of leeway. That's what I've seen.
Do you think that if Jayson wins this year, the entire conversation about him will change?
It depends. I would say if they win, yes, because everyone would say, hey, the Celtics have a great team. They should win. That's been the narrative of the Celtics. They should win. The narrative for Jayson is like, he has this great team around him. He should be in MVP talks. He should be Finals MVP. He should be all this stuff. And so I think that, like, for him to escape that narrative from the media, not from players, from media, they're not going to stop until he wins a Finals MVP.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Which is unfair. Yeah. Which is unfair because up to this point it's been, are y'all going to win the championship or not?
Now it's like, are you going to win a Finals MVP?
Yeah. Like the goalpost just sort of keeps moving and keeps going back.
Until you exceed what they think of you, like that's how it's going to be.
And it's also sort of it's the negative aspect of having high expectations and performing well so quickly. Because in some ways that hurt Jayson. That shouldn't hurt him. Right. But the fact that he was good quickly, that they were, going to Eastern Conference Finals, appearing in the finals quickly, it hurt what people thought he was supposed to be doing because he made it look easy because it happened so early. Right. And so I hope he is able to get out of that narrative because it's unfair the way that he is discussed.
It's a lot of players are unfairly discussed. Unfairly discussed.
Who's on your mind right now? Who's unfairly discussed?
I feel like Luka's unfairly discussed. I'm biased, obviously. I feel like Joel's unfairly discussed. Obviously Jayson.
Why Joel?
Because he's the one player where I played against him. I'm like, damn, this dude is like dominant. When we first played him, when I first played him in Dallas, I was like, he just controlled the entire game from the center position. I haven't seen that in person, so I'm just like, he controlled the game. He controlled the pace of the game. He just controlled it. So then, me seeing now is like, oh, like Joel hasn't gotten past like the second round, or Joel hasn't done this or whatever. Joel has done some crazy things. Like MVP, the numbers he puts up, all that stuff. He's done crazy things. But until they say, hey, you got to get past this round. You got to do this. You're the only MVP to not do certain so. Well, like, everyone, like, assumes, like, oh, he just doesn't care. No, he cares. It's just like, this is not easy. This is a hard thing to do. This is the hard thing to do. I
also want to say, we don't talk enough about how Kawhi's shot altered a lot for everybody. Yeah. Like, it was a shot is what separated people talking about Joel Embiid a specific way.
Yeah. That was like I said, there's some things that are just like difficult that you just like, it's a difficult thing to do, and sometimes you're just unlucky.
Yeah. Was there someone else you wanted to say unfairly discussed?
Not in particular, but I just think like sometimes like content is needed to be made, and so sometimes you gotta sometimes you gotta talk out of your ass. Really.
So genuinely asking, how has doing the Roommates pod maybe sort of changed how you think about content or conversation and talking
now that
points?
I have a lot of time, it's made me think. So I would say like bringing on people. Like I don't like putting things out in the media where it's like Jalen said this headlined. Like when it comes to like post game, when it comes to like certain things like that, like I'm not going to say something that's going to be like, this is going to be a headline about it. You're going to be talking about it for a long time. Like, no, I'm going to keep it short and sweet and just move on and just keep it like that. Like there's no reason for me to stir the pot. Yeah. There's just no reason for me. But doing the show, like I realized that sometimes like you want to ask questions, like you want to talk about certain things, but like you also want like the respect of like, hey, like these dudes will, yeah, we want to know some stuff, but like we're on your side, like. And I realize like sometimes it's difficult to get someone to like open up when like they know this shit's gonna be out there. Yeah. So it's like being on that side of it is really cool. I think we're obviously a little like we chill and talk. Like we just talk about whatever. Like we have a script. We have things that we want to talk about, but sometimes we just go left, right. It is how it is. But I do know that being able to do the show, it's been really cool. We've gotten a lot of like really good stories. We've got to see how people tick. We got to see like what they've gone through and other stuff. We did the show to not talk about basketball as much, but we end up obviously talking about a lot of basketball
because I mean, of course, yeah. But
being able to have that, being able to talk about something like freely and not feel like someone's like, here, question, what do you think about this?
Yeah,
like
you want it to be a conversation.
It's just a conversation. Yeah. So I mean, I love doing it. I love talking to Josh. I think the guests that we have is good, and I think we're gonna have a lot of good guests coming up after.
Yeah, I spoke to Reggie Miller yesterday. He said that you all texted.
I spoke to Reggie Miller yesterday, and I was.
Take me into that conversation.
Oh my God.
For context, of course, Reggie Miller went on a show and gave his thoughts on what he thought about Josh Hart going over and telling him about the FU chants in the Garden. Reggie said maybe he shouldn't have done that, and that was a turning point.
That was not the turning point. I'll say that. Josh shouldn't have done it, though. Josh is an idiot. Josh Hart, you're an idiot. I say that with the utmost confidence. Yeah, he definitely shouldn't have done it, but I don't think that was a turning point. Okay. Don't think that's a turning point. Damn, now we're going to get into that. I'll say the conversation me and Reggie had, I just said, yo, I didn't let Josh tweet. I said, Josh, don't tweet. Let me, if I want him, I'm trying to get him on the show. Just don't say anything. Yeah. So I talked to him. I said, hey, we would love to have you on the show. Like, I feel like it would be great. We can talk about whatever you want to talk about. We control it. We got you. And he's like, I'll say, I think we can get him on the show. I don't want to spoil anything, but I think we can get him. Okay. I think we can get him.
Without spoiling, because I've spoken to him as well about it. Your initial reaction to that, do you understand where he was coming from, or you have a completely opposite take on it? Reggie.
What he said on Mark's stuff, I understand where he's coming from. Mm-hmm. Here are my thoughts. Mm-hmm. Reggie said, hey, like, Josh should not have gone over there and said that to him, 100%. Mm-hmm. Reggie said, hey, like, why am I being brought into this? Like I'm just coming here to do my job. You came in to do your job. Yes, you did. Mm-hmm. But Reggie, you started the chirping. Reggie did start the chirping. He said the boogeyman. He said this. He said the boogeyman's coming back to New York. He said that. He did. He said, why would I be scared to come back in New York? He shouldn't be scared to come back to New York. But he's saying like, why would I be?
Yeah. I own this place.
I own this place. I'm like, Reg. So like, while you were coming there to do your job and didn't want to be brought into it, you said some things that brought it into it. People probably wouldn't have said anything if you just came there and like just did it. Yeah. So that's my thought on it. Mm-hmm.
But see, this is like, that's the really fun, cool aspect of having a podcast. Yeah. Because when you all have this conversation, that's a really compelling conversation. Yeah. Like about the why and also what the etiquette maybe would be for, somebody who's in the thick of a playoff series going over there to talk to Reggie Miller?
When's the last player to ever walk over there?
I can't give you an answer. I can't give you an answer. And Josh, you know you my guy. I, however, cannot give you an answer to that. But in the moment, did it feel like he shouldn't have done it? Or did it feel fun?
I didn't know he did it.
Okay.
No one was like looking at Josh. Like I only saw it after the fact. Like I didn't know what was going on. Like I'm not worried about who's commenting the game. I'm worried about the game.
Yeah.
Yes, it's the end of the game, but like I don't know, man. Josh is
Josh.
Yeah.
Can't make reservations. We love him. Last little sections for you. I know I only have you for about 10 more minutes. I want to talk Olympics. You, of course, were a part of the 41-player pool, but ultimately got left off of the roster.
Right.
Do you feel like you should have been on the roster?
What did Isaiah Thomas said? Isaiah Thomas say? I felt like I made the criteria. Is that what he said?
He did.
I think, yeah. I'll say this: I would have wanted to play. Like the 41 players, you can't go wrong with who you choose. All right, 40 players. I don't think Josh should have been selected because Josh was on that list too. So no. But like it is what it is. Like I'm not. There's like if I ever get asked to do it in the future, like, I'm not gonna be like, no, you guys didn't do it. Like, but yeah, it's.
So they couldn't have gone wrong with any of the players. I agree. Everyone agrees. But do you think you should have been one of the players?
I feel like I should have been one. I would have loved to play.
Yeah.
But obviously, like last year, like losing may have had something to do with it, and like I would have loved the chance to redeem myself.
Yeah.
Like losing the World Championships or the World Cup. But yeah, there was something I was planning and like looking forward to, and yeah.
I know that when you were asked about this, you said, "Oh, I hadn't even seen the list."
I saw the list.
Was that true? Yeah.
I saw the list.
Yeah.
I just didn't feel like talking about it then.
Yeah, because I mean, you were in the middle of something fairly important,
Yeah.
but I was like, he's seen that list.
Like I said, we see everything. It's just, do I want to talk about it right now or later?
Yeah. When you saw that you weren't on the list, though, what did you feel? Like, was it a letdown? Was it like, what was the emotion?
It wasn't a letdown. I kind of, once I knew like the guys, everyone's talking about like, yeah, you gotta give these guys like one last run. Something, all right, they're gonna bring like Steph, like Bron, like KD, like they're gonna bring a lot of those guys, and so I'm thinking like, all right, I would love to be a part of this team. I would love any role that I'm given. It wasn't like a letdown. I was just like, okay. Like it's just
gonna, I'm putting it in my pocket.
Yeah,
with
like I'm not gonna
else.
sit there and be like, this is some BS, and I'm gonna like be mad at the world about it. Like no, I'm just gonna be like, all right, we move on and we see where life takes us.
Yeah. And I think it's great that you're saying I'm open to doing this, right? I understand that maybe this year wasn't my year, but there's gonna be another Olympics. Right. So I think that's great.
Well, I mean, like I said, like I will like I'm not the type of person to be like, hey, I'm gonna wait on that. Like I'm gonna push that until like next time around. Like you never know what situation is gonna be in 4 years, right? There could be another person in my position who comes from the second round and now he's playing great, and then he puts himself in a position to be on the Olympic team. Like I always want to do something like at that moment. Like I always want to be able to put myself in a position where I don't want to push things to later. I want to achieve everything I can now, because plans don't go according to plan. They never do.
Yeah. I like that.
Yeah.
I might take that. You have been in the league long enough to know this. Which two players bring out the best in you?
Like who I play against? Bring out the best in me? That's tough. It's tough because there isn't two players, and plus I'm not trying to give these guys anything. I'll say this. The one player who I was like, damn, I gotta guard this dude. Kemba used to make me look dumb as hell. Kemba.
Really? Kemba Walker?
Used to make me look dumb. Like with Steph, like Steph is gonna make tough shots. Like there are possessions where like you can, I don't say stay in front of him, but you can be there. He's gonna take sidestep, shoot, make a tough shot. Like you're just like, all right, tip your hat. Like LeBron, like he's just gonna like basically like just run through you, lay the ball up, or dunk on you, or do his little hand to the ball or eye to the ball and shoot it. Like there's certain players who are just gonna do things that they do. Like Kemba used to just make me look stupid. Like he would like stop and I would still keep going. Like he had the best like breaks in the league, the way he was able to come to a complete stop. And so for sure, like I was just like, damn. Well, and I can say that now.
Yeah.
Hopefully he doesn't come back to the league.
But I also say, as much as I like that answer, that sounds to me like who's hard to guard.
Yeah.
I'm saying.
I know what you're saying.
Yes.
And I'm not giving those players a satisfaction who are like, no.
But I will say this, do you think that they already know?
No.
Really? Okay,
No.
Now it's even more compelling.
No, because I've had games where I played well and I've had games where I've played poorly.
So you know in your head who it is.
I know it, yeah.
Do you want to tell me one instead of two?
I'll say one. There's one dude who I've played well against and who I haven't played well against. Drew Holiday. I mean, a lot of players can say that too.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of players can say that too. So, I mean, I have the utmost respect for him. There are times where I've gotten the best of him. He's gotten the best of me, for sure.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
And so I assume you are on the side of how has Drew Holiday not won Defensive Player of the Year? Yeah.
How has he not won multiple? He shouldn't have just one.
Yeah.
No.
Especially we were talking about that player poll every year consistently. The players say this is the best defender in the league.
He's the best defender in the league. He's made a lot of
game-winning
stops.
Yeah.
Game-winning stops. Not just stops, and game-winning stops. Mm-hmm. That's unheard of.
Yeah. That's a good pick for a player who brings out the best in you. So I like that answer. Yeah. I sort of want to wrap by talking about your dad. Because when I spoke to you at All-Star, you said something that has stuck out to me because I thought it was just like so honest and beautiful when you go, he actually told me the other day that he wishes he could be me. Yeah. And you had the biggest smile on your face when you said it.
Yeah. So he actually said it at my wedding. So big softy got a little emotional. He didn't cry. He was definitely just talking from the heart. But yeah, he was just like the way he is as a player and as a person, like the way he's just so like he's comfortable within himself, like that's just who he is. Like I envy that. And he's saying this not just to me, to front of the whole room of people. I'm just like, holy shit. Wow. He's never like he's told me he's proud of me. He's been an amazing father. Like, yeah, but like the way when he said that and like how he said it and everything, like I was just like, I've never heard you spoke so well before, first and foremost, and the way you did it, how comfortable you were, and just how from the heart it was just like, damn. Yeah.
How did it hit you?
Well, during that speech, he also said something about how he had a couple more accolades than me. So the first thing I did was I ran up there and got the mic and I said, well, before I say thank you, I have more career points in the league in less years. I have a higher career high, more points in college. I should have more points in college, more points in high school. I was just like, but like, I was like, damn, like my father has never done that before. And a lot of people who are close to me, my family, like I had a lot of like friends there and all that stuff, but the people who like understand like who my dad is and like how he is, like I've never seen Rick do that before. Like a lot of people came to me and said that. I was like, yeah, no, I haven't seen that before either.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. He did an article with William Roden. It was a great article. And he said this. He said, at 27, we had the same passion, the same grit, the same work ethic. We just didn't have the same talent.
Yeah.
What emotions sort of come up for you when you think about this very beautiful yet complicated idea that you were able to become this thing that your dad wanted to become, but didn't?
I would say without him And watching what he did. So they had me when we were 24 or whatever. Growing up until he retired and watching him play and seeing how hard he worked out in the summer. Like, I remember being on a bike with him while he's like running on the side of the street, and like one of those like those sweat jackets, like those trash bag like type of jackets, to like in the hot summer. I remember riding my bike with him, and then after that, like we're going to the gym to go shoot, and, like watching him shoot, and I'm on the other end just like playing and doing whatever, and then him going and playing like in a league, like getting some like run or getting like playing pickup. I watch him do that at least 6 days out of the week, maybe at least 5 days. At least 5 days out of the week.
It's still a lot.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot. But like at a young age, I'm like, oh, that's just my dad, just going out there doing what he has to do. As I got older, to realize how hard I had to work, like I go back to those memories of me and my dad, like me riding the bike while he's running, then going to the gym, then going to go play. Like, this is what he did to be on 8 unguaranteed contracts. Played for 9 years with like 8 different teams. Like, so seeing that and then understanding how hard I had to work just to like get there, it like clicked at that moment. I knew that's when I had to decipher between him being a dad and him being a coach. Inside those lines, he's my coach. Outside the lines, he's my dad. Right. And yeah, we like obviously like get into like not arguments, but like we get into disagreements. Yeah. But like we all know that like what we want is for me to be the best player I can be. So with him being there for me every single day, him retiring to say, hey, like it's time for me to be here, because we lived in New Jersey while he was playing on all those other teams. Like, and then once he retired, started coaching, we started to move around with him. We were in Virginia, and then moved to Chicago, and then obviously after Chicago, we moved back to New Jersey, and I went to Villanova. And so him just being around since that moment, kind of saying, like, all right, now my time is for you, to push you to be I had a plan for you. I thought it was a joke. Like, he's like, I had a plan.
But he did.
My parents had a plan. My parents 100% had a plan. And I would say it worked.
Yeah, it definitely worked.
It worked.
You know, I asked Jayson Tatum this question about his son, and I just loved his answer, so I just want to ask you the same thing. What should your dad know about the way you love him?
What should my dad know about the way I love him? I love him unconditionally. I love him more than we show. Like, we don't have to tell each other how we feel. Like, we know how we feel. Like, we have a connection where I don't need to be like, yo, dad, like, you know I love you, right? Like no, like, he's going to yell at me and say shit during the game, and I'm like, this guy, like, I just don't feel like hearing it right now. But like, he knows that, like, one, I'm going to listen, and two, like, it's love. You're coaching me right now. You're talking to me because you care. He could not give a shit. Mm-hmm. Excuse me. I'm saying he could not care and just not talk to me at all. And so, like I said, once I learned from when he's being a coach versus when he's being a dad, life just became a lot easier. And then, like, our relationship is unlike anyone. Like, we always joke around with each other. I say in the media, oh, I'm better than my dad ever was. Like, while it's true, it's like we all, like, that's how we go with each other. And everyone's like, oh, like, your son's like killing you in the media. Is like no one understands how we are with each other. Yeah. And I'm okay with that, because they could never understand everything that. Yeah, it's your relationship. Yeah.
Yeah. I love that. Yeah. I love that. Well, okay, before we go, I have to ask this, because of course many Knicks fans are going to be wondering, where are you at in terms of the extension? What are you thinking about taking me into the world?
I have no idea what you're talking about. I have no idea.
You're just clueless.
I'm just out here living here day by day.
Living day by day. Yep. Just oblivious to all the inner workings of Jalen Brunson.
Absolutely.
Okay. Well, there's your answer. All right. The last question that we ask every single person on this show is, who has given you the biggest assist off the court? You can't say your dad.
So I'm assuming you're saying anything but family?
Anything but family.
Okay. Because that would have been easy.
Yeah. Although I'm obsessed with your mom. I've been reading so much about her while I was prepping for you, and I'm like, you get a lot of this really from her, it seems like. Sandra is her name, right?
Like this right here, like how I'm talking, how I'm speaking, that's Sandra.
Yeah.
The court's my dad.
Yeah.
This right here, how I act, how I try and compose myself, is Sandra for sure.
We can give some. Your mom can be your assist. Shout out to her.
No, she's gonna love that.
Okay.
But no one in my family. The biggest assist off the court. Every single coach that I've had. I've stayed in touch with every single coach I've had. I stayed in touch with J. Kidd, who reached out every once in a while, obviously Tibbs. J. Kidd, Rick, Coach Wright, my high school coach, Pat Ambrose, my middle school coach, Coach Brown. Like all those coaches I still talk to. They've all had a role in my life. And it's always because like when my dad played in the NBA, it was like, oh, like his dad plays in the league or coaches in the league, like give him special treatment. My dad's always been, no, you coach him. I'm not going to step in your way. Like, you coach him. And so to have that respect between my dad and the coaches, and to them not to give me any special treatment, and the way they've coached me and the way we've had a relationship, it's helped me. And I still talk to all of them, and I love it.
I love that. That's such a good answer. And my parting question is from Mikal Bridges. He said, I had something I had to ask you.
Here we go.
He said, Taylor, please ask Jalen why his name is Domi and Lillard. I think it has something to do with the size of your head.
Yeah, Mikal's favorite player's name. And so he had a really good joke. He called me Domi and Lillard, and it was, I can't believe that's going to go out now, but it was really funny. So I give him a lot.
I mean, what, are they always clowning your head? Like, what's going on?
And Mikal's built like a string bean. He looks like E.T., so.
You know what he said? He said he is going to be resisting the urge to roast me back. But you did it anyways.
Yeah, I did. Mikal's built like a toothpick.
I love that. No, this was so much fun. I know I said it in the beginning, but I mean it. Like I feel like I was able to watch you grow in a lot of ways. I'm super proud of you, and I'm very thankful that you took the time to do this show.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Of course.
And Mikal's still in the net, so
yeah.
that's enough roasting that we need anyway.
Sorry, Mikal. Thank you, Jalen.
Thank you.